Blog Talk Radio.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe, and we are back at it, okay? We're back at it. And it's time to talk Jets, man. It's time to talk about a lot of things that we got upcoming here. Man, listen, salutes to everybody. I can't wait to get into it. So much that we have to discuss. There's been trades, talking about pro days. You know, we got 17-game season now. We've also made some pickups as well since the last show. So let's go ahead and get into it. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I am here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page, content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. So without further ado, folks, let's get into the show. I am fired up. I'm fired up, folks, and I'm ready to go. I'm absolutely ready to go. So you can also follow the show on iTunes as well at The Long Beach Joe Show. You know, all of the content is there. For everyone that doesn't know, you know, while I do my live show as well on Blog Talk, I also live stream on YouTube. So you can go and catch my YouTube channel at Long Beach Joe Jets. Long Beach Joe Jets, you know, is where you can find everything. You know, everything that I have. You can watch the stream live as well. So, you know, go ahead and check me out on there as well. You know, you can also, again, my Facebook, everything, my Instagram, Long Beach Joe Show. You know, go ahead and check it out there, you know, and we can go back and forth. You know, absolutely love, you know, talking to everybody and getting involved and, you know, talking about the Jets and discussing everything that we got going on. So with all that said, I'm ready to get into it, man. There's been some big moves, some big moves since the last show I did. One of the big moves was it was a big draft trade that was swung by the Dolphins. The Dolphins made some moves, man. That's a crafty team over there. They just keep trying to do things to improve and get themselves better and get themselves into a real big position within this draft. So you look at the situation. First news broke, the 49ers and the Dolphins, they make a trade. The Dolphins get the 12th pick. They get a third pick. They get a 2022 first-round pick. And they also get another first-round pick in 2023. The Niners moved up, right, from 12. They moved up to 3 for all of that capital. I was like, dang, man. The Niners are really, you know, searching for something there. That was the first thing I thought to myself is like, okay, well, who do the Niners want? You know, who are they going after? Or do they even care? Are they just wanting to be in on, you know, whoever is going to be there? Because everybody is saying to themselves, the consensus first-round pick is Trevor Lawrence. You know, he's going to go first. The Jags have him, you know, loaded. He's ready to go. He's going to be there. And then you're wondering, okay, who's the other guys that they're looking at? You know, who else could they be going after? Are they interested in Wilson? Are they interested in Fields? You know, some people were thinking, could they be trading up for a tackle? I don't know. Sewell from Oregon could be there. You know, so it's a lot of thoughts about who the Niners could be up there for. Me personally, in my mind, there's no doubt that they're looking at gaining themselves a quarterback. They're looking at either Fields, Wilson. Some people are now talking about Mac Jones, you know, possibly being in the conversation for the Niners as well, that they might take him. So there was just a lot of, whoa, man. That was a lot of capital to move up, but they're striking and they're trying to get a guy in there, right? Then the Dolphins turn around, they swing another trade with the Eagles. Okay? The Dolphins get the sixth pick in the first round. They moved back up, and they also get a fifth rounder, and they gave the Eagles the 12th pick in the first round. They gave them a fourth rounder, and they gave them a 2022 first round pick. You know, so the Dolphins were able to swing themselves back up into the conversation. Now they moved to 6. Eagles moved back to 12. And the Dolphins are in a good position. You know, I'm not a big Dolphins guy. We know they're division rivals, not feeling it. But they make some solid moves for themselves. And, again, they continue to put themselves in the best position and continue to build that football team. But there was impact, you know, with this trade, all right? Because the first thing, again, we thought was, okay, well, who are the Niners targeting? where could they go? But it was also impact as well because people were thinking, we've been trying to move Sam Darnold. A lot of people want to move away from him. There's a lot of Jets fans that are saying to themselves, hey, we don't want to move on with Sam. We want a quarterback in this draft. Okay, well, if that's what you want, then where are you sending him now? Because the list of teams have gotten a lot shorter. We've seen other teams out there make moves. We've seen Detroit make a move to get Goff. We've seen Stafford go, to other teams. There have been so much movement of quarterbacks this offseason. And the guy that has so much question marks surrounding him at this point, he's still, when the smoke's cleared, he's still here on the roster. So where does he go now? Do you send him to Carolina? Do you send him to the Broncos? They have openings. There are, teams that are also looking, to make a deal for a quarterback. Hell, the Niners were in that conversation as well. There was so much talk, Sam to San Francisco, Sam to the 49ers, constantly, where the Niners look like they'd be out of that talk at this point because they've moved up to position themselves possibly for a quarterback, a young quarterback coming out in this draft. Then you also got to look at the possible value that you get back for Sam Darnold at this point. What could it be? It can't be a first-rounder like somebody was saying, like a lot of people were saying before, right? Because you'd only have maybe one or two teams still vying for his services. And that's if those teams at this point feel comfortable going with him. Why wouldn't they just sit back and go, we'll just take a young guy in this draft? Or, heck, we'll wait till the next one, honestly. And then the guys that you got left, why would they give you anywhere near a first-rounder at this point? It's been reported that that's what the Jets were looking for. If you're a team sitting back and, you're still looking for Sam Darnold, you could say to yourself, hey, I'm not going to offer them anything. I'll sit back and I'll maybe give you a third-rounder. I don't have to, up my bid at all because I'm the only one bidding at this point. There's not a lot of other teams that are in the conversation. What are you going to do about it? So there's a lot of conversation to be had around that, man. A lot of thoughts to be had. I mean, that trade really swung a lot of things, man. And again, you start to look at other options as well. If the Jets just wanted to stay with Darnold the entire time and possibly trade down, the Niners would have been one of those targets because they were a QB-hungry team. But, allegedly, according to reports, the Niners didn't even call the Jets, before they made that trade. Maybe they felt it was going to be too much to move up. A lot of people think that the Jets are locked in at this point, to take a quarterback anyway. So maybe the Niners, some people think the Niners may have got tipped off. I don't know because nothing gets out of the Jets front office anymore at all. So there's just a lot to talk about. And I can't wait to get you folks' thoughts on that one. Then you look at the situation, we have some pro days as well. Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, big pro days, man. And again, people make a lot of things about a lot. People make a lot about a lot of different things. Again, these guys are just in T-shirts and shorts out there. It wasn't against, actual defenses, and it wasn't on game day and all these things, But I tell you what, they both look good. I thought Zach Wilson made some solid throws. He had a throw when he was going to his left, and he completely was able to just whip it to the other hash mark. He looked solid. Justin Fields came out, had a phenomenal pro day as well, ran a 4.4, and honestly, he might have been faster than 4.4 because he kind of slipped while he was running, so he might have ran lower than that if he hadn't slipped. He looked phenomenal as well. He threw the ball really well. He made some throws where clearly you could see his arm strength and his athletic ability. But there's a lot of questions surrounding that too. A lot of people are just locked in on Zach Wilson at this point. A lot of the Jets fan base is. And I got some questions, man. I got some questions because up until this point, up until recently, honestly, Zach Wilson was not in the conversation. And I know that some Jets fans want you to believe that, but it's not true. I was here all season. I remember the tank for Trevor. I remember if it's not Trevor Lawrence, we might as well stick with Sam Darnold. I remember these discussions. And Zach Wilson didn't really become, the talk of, hey, let's get him. He's the best quarterback in the draft up until maybe the last month and a half. So I'm just wondering where everybody's head's at with this because, there's a lot of questions to be asked about Zach as well. A lot of questions to be asked. Great arm strength. Soft schedule, though. Let's keep it real. Who is he playing? I mean, let's be serious here. Scoring, 30 points in the NBA against the top guys is completely different than scoring, 30 against lower level competition. There's a difference there. And so when you look at a lot of these things, I remember people were, all over Justin Fields after that bowl game when he lit up Clemson with broken ribs. That's a gritty performance. And when you look at where Justin Fields has gone, in a lot of people's minds, they have him kind of sliding down the board a little bit at this point. I mean, he's done it. He went into a bowl game, out-dueled Trevor Lawrence, who supposedly, is a generational talent, right? The guy that's a can't-miss guy, a franchise changer. He walked straight in the building and handled business with broken ribs. Didn't let anything stop him. Then he comes out, continues to do his thing. He's in a great offense, Ryan Day offense. People are saying he can't make reads. He can't go through his progressions. And how is he surviving? He plays the hardest schedule. He plays the hardest schedule of all the quarterbacks coming out this year. He plays top competition week in and week out. I mean, what more do you want from him? If I'm Justin Fields, I'm just asking guys.
What more do you want from me?
I mean, come on. Come on. Why are the evaluations so all over the place for these two quarterbacks? And I'm wondering why, Jets fans are just absolutely locked in to Zach Wilson at this point. A lot of questions to be asked. I'm just saying, and we're going to discuss that as well tonight. Also, we got a 17, game season accepted at this point. Jets going to play the Eagles in an extra 17th game. More football, that's always good, right? I mean, unless you're Alvin Kamara. He's pretty upset about it. I respect that, and I understand it. Football players put their bodies on the line on a weekly basis. You know what I mean? I get it. So we're definitely going to talk about that too. We signed Vinny Curry, Tevin Coleman as well, additions to the roster. So there's a lot to discuss, man. A lot to discuss. Listen, 515-602-9639. Again, 515-602-9639 is the number you can call in. We're going to talk about all this stuff live tonight. I want to talk. I want to hear from Jets fans. I want to hear your opinions about a lot of things that we got going on, man. I want to hear about it. Again, when you call in, for a lot of people that may not know how this works, okay, when you call in, you're being a queue, okay? I can see you. You don't have to call in and hang up, You'll be on the line if you're patient. I'll get to everybody. We got time. I want to have discussions. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give everybody their time. I'm going to respect everybody, in their time. And I want to hear from you. Do not call into my show cursing. I will get you out of here fast. Okay? Faster than people, forgot about Trevor Lawrence and started calling Zach Wilson the best player in the draft. Best quarterback in the draft. That was fast. I mean, that was pretty fast.
No.
That was fast. He's not bad, but it was a quick turn. You know what I mean? It went from Trevor Lawrence is gone. We're in a bad position to Zach Wilson is the greatest ever. I'm just I'm just asking questions. I'm just wondering. So we're gonna get to everybody. So I'm gonna get to the callers now. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639. So we're gonna get to these lines. I think I'm gonna go to my guy E first, man. E's on the line. We're gonna come directly to him. E, my man, how's everything going? Thank you for calling in tonight. Man, I want you to give me your thoughts about this, this Jets draft talk. What are your thoughts about Justin Fields, Zach Wilson? How do you feel about their pro days? And who do you think the Jets should take, man?
What's going on, Joe? Hope you're doing, man. So I'm leaning Wilson. I have been for a little bit. I like both of them, though. Like, just because I like one guy doesn't mean I can't like both. I just prefer Wilson a little bit more. And I hate the damn argument about the whole soft schedule thing because people treat it for Zach Wilson. It's just lazy analysis because who did Trevor Lawrence have to play this year? He put up like 73 on Georgia Tech. I mean, the ACC's nothing. And you go back a year ago, freaking noodle arm Tua turned the ball over. He played no one, and he had a freaking all-star cast over there in Alabama. I mean, people just use the argument for one guy with Wilson. And did Mahomes face a lot of top competition? Like, I don't care how well it's not just how you play well. It's the fact that you play well and what you do well. It's not just, who's the best player in college football? We're looking for a guy who's going to translate well to the next level. I don't. Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
No, I was done. What did you say?
Yeah, here's the deal. And, again, I want to thank you for calling in, E. Here's the deal is, at the end of the day, right, you can say the ACC is nothing. If you're playing Power 5, you're playing top-level competition. You're playing guys that are going to be in the league, right? And I understand what you're saying about certain things. But let me tell you something. When you talk about how he plays well, listen, 2019, are we not going to talk about his fourth-quarter struggles? Are we not going to talk about that? I'm just asking. Like, these are just questions that I'm asking. I think that Zach Wilson is extremely talented. I do. I'm not taking anything away from him, but I'm just wondering why questions about quarterbacks that we've seen in the past, right, with the Jets fan base in particular, we pick guys apart. I remember the draft when Sam was coming out. People were picking him apart. They also talked about Baker. There was a lot of guys that did not like Josh Rosen, all this other stuff for different things, but it seems like with Zach, no one's asking these questions. In 2019, he had a lot of fourth-quarter struggles, all right? He threw 6 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. You're talking about level of competition not being important. It is important, especially when you're facing, like, Toledo, and you're throwing interceptions late, and you're costing the team games.
Who is he playing with on his own team? He's not having NFL guys on his own team.
If you're doing that against low-level competition, you're doing that in New York, the fan base and the media here will crush you. So there is questions to be asked. Why is no one talking about his struggles in the fourth quarter? Why is no one talking about his durability? No one's concerned about the torn labrum in his shoulder. No one's concerned about the hand injury. No one's concerned about any of that at all, even though we're always concerned about that stuff with any other player, particularly players that come out in the draft. Those are my questions, though, E. I think Wilson is phenomenal. He's got great arm talent. Like, this guy can throw. But where are the questions about all the other stuff? Why are we playing down saying, just because he doesn't play high level of competition, he's not playing Power 5 guys. He's only playing like two ranked teams. I think it was like Boise State and Coastal Carolina the entire year. Why are we not discussing that?
Well, he's not playing with any good players on his own team. I mean, his best receiver is going to be lucky if he gets drafted this year. I mean, he doesn't play with anyone on his own team. Durability, though, good point. I do worry a bit about that. I'm somewhat willing to take the risk there just because, one of his big injuries was from high school. It wasn't from college, and he finally got it repaired. Yeah. And also the thing, too, with what I don't get is, you want to go back and critique his 2019. What about Joe Burrow? He was like a 6th-round pick in 2019 and then balled out the next year, so he's not allowed to improve. I mean, he clearly improved on all of that. So I don't get that argument.
But again,
either.
Did he? Because if you're playing nobodies, right? If in 2020
you have nobody.
If you're playing a very soft schedule in 2020 and only 3 defenders that you play the entire year are in the top 200, neither one of those 3 guys are considered first or second round picks. I mean, wouldn't you say that he could go out there and just light it up and look great against a really soft schedule?
That's exactly what he did this past year.
That's a concern.
Phenomenal.
I mean, if you come out and you are playing against guys that aren't going to be able to keep up, and you're lighting up guys that aren't, in the top 200, that aren't going to be elite guys that you're going to face at other levels. I mean, there's a difference. Like, that's why guys that go to Alabama and things like that, there's a reason why those guys are heralded so much in the draft, because they're playing guys that are going to be at the elite level. They're playing NFL players damn near. That's why guys, like, we talk about guys on Alabama all the time, all the guys that they have. We talk about all these big-time schools that are constantly playing. Like I said, they're Power 5, guys that are putting it together. Go ahead. What did you say?
Yeah, and their quarterbacks never turn out to be anything. Just because you played a big school.
Yeah, but they have. I'm talking about talent.
What school did Patrick Mahomes play?
I'm talking about talent across the board. So if you're a guy that's playing on teams like that, if you're a guy that's playing constant competition, elite guys every week, and you're still going out there and putting numbers up on the board, that says something about you, doesn't it? That says something about you. All I'm saying is that, look, I think Zach is phenomenal, but I'm just confused on why all of a sudden Jets fans are heralding him as the second pick. We need to go with this guy, but all of a sudden Justin Fields has just been cast aside when Justin has done it on that level. Justin went into Clemson. He was in the Sugar Bowl. He went there. and completely put them to bed on the biggest stage by himself out there doing his thing, broken ribs and all, put it on the line. He could have said, you know what, I'm good. I know I'm going to go in the draft. I'm hurt. I'm not going to play. He didn't do that. He said, tape it up. I'm going back out there, and I'm going to put it on. Exactly what he did against the generational
I don't think we should be celebrating him for getting hurt when he got himself hurt. I mean, he should have slid there. There's no doubt. I mean, it's great that he played the way.
He didn't get himself. Come on, he didn't get himself hurt.
Yeah,
What we're celebrating is gritty performances. What we're celebrating is a guy that put it on the line against top competition. I mean, Clemson was a top team. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Trevor Lawrence is generational talent. Am I lying about that? That Trevor Lawrence is the generational talent? Wasn't he supposed to be the savior of the New York Jets before we won those games? Everybody was upset that we missed out on him. Justin Fields walked in and outdueled him. No issues.
What does Trevor Lawrence have to do with Justin Fields playing well? He plays on offense. He's a quarterback.
What I'm telling you is that he went in there and outdueled him is what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
We all know that with
you're
Trevor
damn
Lawrence
right
plays,
about that.
we all know the position. I'm just asking you. Yeah, okay, so he goes in there and he puts on the biggest stage in front of everybody. Why are we not talking about Justin Fields being number 2? Why is he not the lock? I'm just asking questions.
Well, I think Zach Wilson, I think he's a better, in my opinion, it's my opinion, I think he's a better prospect. I think, the Reeds thing with Fields, it's extremely overblown. A big part of it, in my opinion, is he's playing in kind of a college-y offense where a lot of stuff is one read. Trevor Lawrence is he kind of plays in a similar kind of, a college-y offense, not like a pro style. So that's kind of a big thing. And also, if you have wide-open receivers in your first read, you're going to throw it to them. Now, sometimes he does lock onto them for a little too long, and you want to look off of that. I'm worried about that. I'm also worried about how long he holds on to the ball for. But I think both are great. I think Wilson's slightly better. I think his arm, he has a way quicker release than Fields. Fields kind of takes a bit longer to wind up a bit. So I kind of like that. The arm talent from Wilson. And also with the pro days, I don't care what they did there. I mean, pro days and Sam's trying to treat it like some big analysis point that, they're going there for interviews, medicals, and, you're for mechanical reasons, like little things that you see up close. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't think same thing with, the combine and whatnot. These are numbers. We're just trying to get some entertainment from, who's going to rise, who's going to drop down on draft boards and whatnot. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, I understand. And, like I said, I think they look phenomenal. But like you said, I think a lot of people, are reading a lot into the pro days. But we'll see. And I think a big thing for Zach especially is when he gets that medical, because I think a lot of people are looking to see, okay, where is he going to be? You know what I'm saying, at that point? Like, is that shoulder good?
Right.
Like we talked about, that labor in that situation. We'll see how it is going forward. But I also want to ask you about the draft trades that were made. Dolphins, Eagles, and Niners. Or the Dolphins and the Niners were able to make a move. Dolphins and the Eagles will make a move. What are your thoughts about the trade that the Dolphins were able to make with each of those teams? And how do you feel like it's changed the landscape for the Jets and the impact that it had on their possible moves within the draft?
I don't really think it changes much for the Jets. I just think it kind of cements that I'm very confident we're going to go for a quarterback now at number 2. I'm pretty confident if Douglas got that offer, he was going to go for it. There was also a report that the Eagles were going to try and move up for Wilson, but they didn't think that they were going to be able to get him because they think the Jets were going to get him. So that's kind of, you can't trust everything like that and whatnot. But I think for San Francisco, I think it's a good move from them. I personally think, actually, they're going to take Mac Jones because if you look at some of Kyle Shanahan's quarterbacks recently, it's like the typical kind of pocket passer. Like he's a Kirk Cousins guy, Matt Ryan, Jimmy Garoppolo. I personally wouldn't do it. I'd rather go Fields or something just because I like the upside there. But I could see them going Mac Jones there. The Eagles or the Dolphins, good move by them. I think. I mean, it makes me happy because I'm not a believer in Tua. I just don't see it there, just upside wise mainly. So they're going to hold on to him for another year. So, I mean, I don't think the Dolphins are going to be an elite team like Dolphin fans want to tell you they are. Oh, man, number one.
They're going to come for you, E.
That looks great.
They're going to come for you, bro.
Against, in week 17 against Matt Barkley. But, And then from the Eagles' perspective, they got a first-round pick just so they can kind of see if Hurts is their guy, and then they got an extra first if they want to move up for one of the guys like, what's his name, Slovis or Uiagalelei, I think that's how we pronounce his name, or the kid from North Carolina, one of those guys next year, Howell. So, they got a first-round pick, do some evaluation. So I think it benefits pretty much everyone. I know Eagles fans are pissed because they weren't going to get like Jamar Chase or whatnot, but I think it's solid moves from everyone.
Okay. So my final question before I let you go, Ian, again, I want to thank you for calling in, my friend. I got a lot of callers. We're going to get to everybody tonight. What are your thoughts about the 17-game season being accepted, man? How are you feeling about us, going in, another week of football, and we get to play the Eagles this year as well in that 17 game?
I mean, I don't know how to feel about it, man, because, you get more football. That's great, but the players hate it. And also, it's going to take so long getting used to, we went 7-10 last year, or we went 8-9. Also, there's no, it's an odd number of games, so you can't have a 500 record. So it's going to take some adjustment period. More football, that's cool, but I don't want guys to get so worn out that the playoffs are going to be boring, and a million guys are going to be hurt during the playoffs. So I don't really know how to deal with it. I would have preferred them go 16 and not have the expanded playoffs. I just like the way it's been for a while. But they're trying to make some more money. They got the new TV deal, so I saw it coming for sure. But I don't really know how to feel about it. But it's just going to be so weird saying, I hope we go 7-10 this year, or we go, 10-7. It's going to be weird, man. But yeah.
Yeah. All right, E, again, man, thank you for calling in. You brought the fire tonight. I'm not going to lie about it. You brought the fire. That's okay. Go ahead. I respect
I just realized
I
made it throughout the whole call without roasting Sam Darnold. Man, that's an achievement, man.
See, that's, I tried to get you out of here before you started. Before you started with Sam Darnold, so we got you out of here. Listen, E, thank you for calling in. You have a good night, man. All right, you have a good night, man. You have a good night. All right, get him out of here. Get him out of here before he starts with Sam Darnold. I don't want to hear that nonsense, all right? I don't want to hear it, all right? Look, we're going to talk about Sam tonight as well because there's a possibility the Jets could stick with him. I know that there's a lot of reports out there that, they're locked in on Zach Wilson and that Zach Wilson is the pick. And, there's some people out there, I think it was Steve Young, talking about how, they're recruiting his family and things like that. Here's my thoughts on this. And we'll keep getting to the callers in a second. But my thing is, there's been a lot of reports about what the Jets are going to do in free agency. There's been a lot of reports about what the Jets are going to do throughout the year. Ever since Joe Douglas has taken over, there's been no leaks coming out this franchise whatsoever. All right? No disrespect to anybody, but there's a lot of people on the beat. There's a lot of people, that cover the Jets that have talked about the Jets being linked to players, and it's a lock for them to get this guy. It's a lock for them to get that guy, and none of those reports turned out to be true. Often those reports turned out to be way wrong. Like there were guys that the Jets were supposedly all in on, and they didn't even make calls to some of those guys. So, listen, nobody at this point really knows what Joe Douglas is going to do. And, even if that's being reported, that could be a smokescreen. It could be something that he's doing, if he's even doing that. But I don't know. A lot of these reports, again, have been all over the place, and there's been a lot of thoughts about it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of thoughts out there, but a lot of them have not turned out to be true. So we're going to keep getting to these lines. 201-201, I'm coming to you. Again, 515-602-9639, 515-602-9639. Call in, okay? Call in. We're going to talk all night tonight about the New York Jets, the draft plans, what they have coming up. We're going to cover everything. But 201, I'm coming directly to you. 201, first off, thank you for calling in. Give me your thoughts about the draft trade that the Eagles and Dolphins made, and the Eagles and Niners. How do you feel about, this situation, and where do you think this puts the Jets as far as things that they could possibly get done in the draft at this point? What kind of impact do you think it has on them?
Yo, Joe, it's Mike from Jersey. What's up, man?
Jerk, what's going on? How are you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm good. So I just want to point something out. I really do. Because I woke up with this thought this morning, and today, Friday, marks the 1 week anniversary of Zach Wilson's pro day, right? Sam Darnold is still affiliated, is still employed by the New York Jets. All I'm saying is if by draft night, if Sam Darnold is still with the Jets, I'm sorry. Whatever Vegas bets he got, it's 50-50. Whether he starts for us in 21 or he doesn't. Because I know people are going to say, oh, fine, yes, of course he can still be traded on draft night. But you know what? The truth of the matter, the fact is I would be remiss to believe that Joe Douglas didn't know that his stock was highest probably prior to when Wentz got dealt to the Colts, right? So you had Wentz go to the Colts. You had Dalton then get scooped up by the Bears. Washington secured their thing going. And it's just like, you know what? So the market now is probably absolutely terrible. And I'm not going to believe any fan that wants to tell me that, oh, he's just waiting for the best possible, offer. Maybe Joe's trying to sit and get someone to come in and say, yeah, we'll give you a 2 for him. Bullshit. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. No.
Watch the language. Watch the language, my man.
Yeah.
Family show. Go ahead.
I don't believe it, and it's like, that's the thing. If someone would have come in and said, okay, a third or fourth, whatever, he would have been dealt already if they were so sure about going into draft night and saying, okay, Fields, Wilson. Now, this is not me saying, okay, I don't think he won't get dealt, but I'm just saying as time goes on, the reality of him starting in 2021 gets bigger and bigger. That's the first thing I want to get off my chest, because it's just like, to me as a fan, it's like, what are they waiting for? What are they waiting for? Like, everybody was saying, okay, due diligence, pro days. Well, the pro days have happened. It's been a week since Zach Wilson. Now, I don't know how diligently things get done, in the background of the NFL world here. But I would imagine that within a week, if they didn't feel 100% on Wilson or Fields, yada yada yada, that Sam would still be with the team. And you can't be naive and think that, okay, as soon as LaFleur and Saleh were hired, they went straight to work. They did their homework, and to be quite frank, I mean, look, these guys were watching films of their entire Colgate careers, right? And so the pro day was just like a fancy, like, let me leave a nice taste in your mouth. Let me show you what I got. Let me flex for you guys. But they've been watching these guys as soon as they got hired. And, they could make up their minds as soon as they got hired. So I'm just saying, and I'm not a pro. I just want to, I'm not pro Sam. I am pro whatever they decide to do. I'm going to support it. But I keep saying this. I don't understand the fixation of Zach Wilson. I don't understand the fixation, and I don't understand where fans are, coming off and saying, okay, he's the sure 2 pick, when Justin Fields just had practically the same pro day, okay, and you can make, legitimate arguments for why one is better than the other, right? And so, or which I also feel is very in play, is, they keep Sam, and then it's like, with the second overall pick, the New York Jets have decided to trade back with who knows who, and we get a king's ransom. I don't know how that's not, how people are convinced that that's not still in play.
Exactly. And here's the thing. And again, Mike, I want to thank you for calling in, man. And this is a very interesting point. And we're going to start talking about Darnold. I know a lot of people are not pro Darnold. Everyone knows how I feel. And it's not because I'm a USC guy, fight on. It's not because of that. I'm not a homer. I keep it real over here, okay? I cheer for the Jets. I cheer for the name on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back, all right? I've been very clear about that, and my critiques on players and all that have followed that. But you bring up a great point, and this was something I was going to talk about as well, is that everyone's just acting like, okay, well, the pro days was the thing that he was waiting on. Joe Douglas is like the scout of all scouts. This guy is unbelievably talented. He's one of the best scouts, NFL scouts there is. The team that he's put together as well has brought in. These guys know what's going on. The pro day is not the thing that's going to necessarily sell them on a player, okay? Watching these guys live in pads, against actual defenses is what should sell you on a player. What he does on the field against real competition that's trying to take his head off, that's what you should be players on, not what he can do in T-shirts and shorts. because there's a lot of guys that can chuck the football around as well when they're in T-shirts and shorts, but you put them on a field and you make them read the defense, and they don't know what's going on out there. So I'm with you. I'm wondering, okay, well, if he hasn't been dealt yet, right, and there's no teams that he's been traded to, at some point people have got to start thinking maybe Sam is going to be our starter coming into next year. There's definitely a possibility, and I've talked about that as well in the past, that may be the way for us to go, because what that allows us to do is trade down and get that king's ransom that we're looking for to continue to build the football team. And that was part of my plan as well. I talked about coming into this offseason because I said, listen, I understand Sam has had his struggles, but there's been a lot of things as well that we've done that has not put Sam in the best position whatsoever, okay? He's never had great coaching. Hell, you look at this year. Well, you look at since we got him. You started off with Todd Bowles, right, which was bad. Jeremy Bates was bad. He had bad offensive coordinator, bad everything, right? Then you try to finish him off with Adam Gase, who was good God. I mean, yeah, and Darryl Loggins, my goodness. And then you give him no offensive. You give him no protection. Again, you give him next to no weapons. You give him nothing. So he's never had anything. If you look at all these other quarterbacks across the league that are ascending, getting better on a weekly basis, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, you put any of these guys on these teams, right, that Sam has been on, they wouldn't look any better. If you look at all of those teams, they've done the complete opposite of what the Jets have done for Sam Darnold. They've given their young QB weapons, protection. Hell, look at what Arizona's done with Kyler Murray. He's a phenomenal talent, but they put talent around him as well. They went and got DeAndre Hopkins. They went and got other weapons. They made sure, the offensive line was short up so he wasn't getting blasted on a weekly basis and getting hit. They gave him targets to go through. Look at Josh Allen. That's right in our division. The Bills have built up. Now they're running the division, and people were constantly talking about the Patriots. The Patriots had a down year, and the Bills stepped right into business. Why? Because they drafted offensive line, they protected them, they went out and got weapons for them as well. Before they were running around with Cole Beasley and John Brown, they said, okay, we need a number one guy. Those guys are good, but we need a number one guy for them to go to. They went and got Diggs. Josh Allen was one of the wildest prospects to come out. He was very boom or bust. He just had an MVP year this year. The year before this year, I called him a glorified running back. Seriously, people were saying he was never going to be good. He was doing nothing but throwing interceptions, right? And we were all saying he's never going to pan. This year he comes out. He's comfortable within the system. They've worked with him. They put weapons around him. They gave him a number one wide receiver, and he's a damn MVP. People are looking at him as put MVP conversation. So there's got to be something said about that. And anytime you mention that, the first thing is people say, well, you're giving excuses. That's not an excuse. These are facts. If you do not surround a young quarterback with something, he's never going to be anything. People talk about Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck is not playing anymore because Andrew Luck did on a weekly basis because he never got protection. That's why he retired early. So you got to ask yourself these questions. But go ahead.
Don't. It's like, come on, bro. Like, if you cannot honestly sit there and tell me that if Josh Allen wasn't blessed with Brian Dabble, Diggs, Cole Beasley, and and they didn't build that for him, that he would have had the 2020 that he had. It wouldn't have been remotely close.
Here we go!
It would have been another mirror image of 2019. This is what I'm saying. So, when people are saying, okay, Darnold needs a fresh start, well, define the fresh start for me, because as far as I'm concerned, is they completely overhauled their entire coaching staff. Okay, with the exception of Grant Boyer, who's the special teams coach and has nothing to do with the development of Sam Darnold. And I know, as people, he's a pro Darnold. No, I'm just pro facts, as you seem to be as well. Like, these are just factual, non-biased, observations. As anyone who's in the NFL, you're not about to tell me that even with the prodigy that Patrick Mahomes is, that he would have had the same amount of success as he would have if he was put on the Jets instead of the Chiefs. It's just he wouldn't have a Super Bowl. Okay, he wouldn't have been to the AFC Championship this many times already. It's common sense at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, hell, look how Patrick Mahomes looked without protection in the Super Bowl. He looked just like Sam Darnold, running for his life. He couldn't get anything out. He looked like he was just. Dude, he was just out of it. He was like anything. But we can keep talking about Sam, and we've had a great conversation. But I want to get to this, to talking about moving down, because this is a very interesting topic as well. You talked about
Right.
trading down, and I looked at the situation, especially with the trade that the Dolphins made, with the 49ers. That was one of the teams I think we were probably targeting to really fleece, right? And before, everybody was thinking, okay, where can we go? What can we do? So now when you look at the situation, who do you think is a team that we could look at and possibly get that King's ransom from? Do you think the Broncos would be willing to give up that stuff? I mean, where exactly will we go?
Okay, so safe. If we're doing safe, you gotta call up the Falcons. Okay, they're right there at 4, so that means we would just move two places back, right? Okay, you move behind the Dolphins. You move behind the Finns, who obviously we know are not taking a quarterback, right? So Falcons move up to our space. They take Matty Ice's successor, whoever it is, whether it's Wilson or Fields or Lance and Mac Jones, who knows? But then in the event that, they do decide, like, okay, we want someone, you see, this is where my, me kind of, looking at this whole entire picture nonchalantly and everyone saying, okay, if you like the guy, you got to take him at 2. I'm not necessarily looking at that. I'm kind of looking at it more in a bigger picture, like, hey, you know what? If you can get more picks by just moving back 2 spaces and then being able to have the option of either Fields or Wilson still being on the board, plus Lance, plus Mac Jones, who I don't want Mac Jones, but, one of those guys who I personally feel like, based off of their Colgate years and pro days, if LaFleur coaches them well, they will become something, right? And so you have that opportunity. If that need be, you want him, you stay at 4. Now you have even more picks. So now you can go and draft offensive linemen, which is what I've been thinking that Joe Douglas has wanted to do since day one, right? He drafted Becton last year. He's going to do obviously a couple offensive linemen this year. What better way to do it if we got more picks? But then at that 4 pick, now even if you decided to keep Sam Darnold, okay, Pitts. Imagine Pitts, Hernandez, or someone, and then you use 23 on Davis, or you use 23 on Creed, or Certain, or Horn, but you still have some more picks, right? We have I don't even think we're in the second round, right? Or we have one in the second round, So it's like I just think that trading down, people have really demonized the idea, and it's just like how could you demonize it? People really think like we're only like a couple guys away from the playoffs? Absolutely not. We still have a ton of positions that need to be filled with playmakers, and this is the draft to do it. Offensive linemen, cornerbacks, wide receivers. This draft is filled to the brim with these type of big time players, and we have the opportunity to get a lot of them if we just trade back.
Yeah. That's facts. That's facts enough. Listen, Mike, you brought the fire tonight. Give this guy a hand, man. Give this guy a hand. You brought fire. Listen, I got to get to the rest of these calls, Mike. I want you to have a good night, man. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you again, my friend. It's always good talking to you.
Absolutely. You too. Take care, man.
Have a good one.
Appreciate it.
Take care. Listen, Mike from Jersey, that guy calls in and he talks that talk. I respect everybody's takes, Everybody, I want to hear everybody's talk about, what we should do at quarterback here, because there's a lot of options, a lot of discussions to be had. And again, I like Sam Darnold. I think he's a great player. I think he could be a great player for the Jets. I think we've done him a lot of disservice. I'm not a homer, though. I do realize that there's been some issues, but a lot of those issues you trace back, man, and a lot of it kind of leads to the Jets not being able to get the job done and surround him with talent, dude. It does. And again, I'm not a homer because I bash UFC players all the time. I do. I bash Mark Sanchez for years. Oh, goodness. And Chuma Adoga, I said we shouldn't even have drafted that guy. He is trash, and I fought him being trash for a long time. People were constantly asking me during that draft, should we take Chuma? And I said,
hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. To the no, no, no.
No. I told him no. But even when we did take him, I was like, this dude is a project. He's not going to be ready. And, God, he's terrible. Anyway, we're going to keep getting to these lines. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639. You can call in. You know, when you call in, for some of you that may not understand how this works here on my program, when you call in, you will be put in a queue. Do not call in and hang up, call in and hang up, call in and hang up. If you do that, you will be in the abyss. I will never see you, okay? You'll just go down the drain somewhere. I will never, ever see you. If you call in and be patient, I'll get to everybody. You know what I'm saying? I do my best to get to everybody. We're going to do that tonight. We're going to keep getting to these lines. They're cooking up. And salute to the savages in the chat. For those of you that do not know, or for those of you that are listening to me on Blog Talk, I live stream while I do my radio show, okay? My chat, I call them the savages. Why? Because they're savage. Savage. Nobody is safe. Not even me. If they don't like your take, they're going to get after you, my friend. Respectfully, you know? Respectfully. They get after you. It doesn't matter who you are, okay? They will let you know. All right? So salute to all the savages in the chat. Also, you can talk that talk because we'll come to you eventually as well. So now I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to go to my guy Steve on the line. Steve. Oh. I know he's going to have some fire for me. Steve, what's going on, my man? Thank you for calling in tonight. We're talking QB. We're talking Jets, man. Give me your thoughts about the Jets, you know, possibly, you know, going after Zach Wilson. Do you think that he's a lock to be a New York Jet?
Hey, Joe. First of all, thanks for having me again on the show tonight. It's always fun talking to you. And I got to tell you something. Watching Zach Wilson's pro day, I used to call Zach Wilson like that. He wasn't going to be that good enough and all that stuff. But I got to tell you something, Joe. I was absolutely impressed with his talent, with his arm talent and stuff. And I think wherever team where Zach be very successful, whichever team he does go to. But the thing is, though, like if let's say if I'm at that right, if I'm in the position right now looking at quarterbacks, you know, Trevor Lawrence is number one to me, then Zach Wilson's number two, and then I have Justin Fields at number three.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Why do you have Justin Fields at number three? Did you watch that bowl game? He was pretty gritty there, right, Steve? That guy showed a lot of fight and really lit it up, and he played harder competition. Out of all the young quarterbacks that are coming out in this draft, he had the toughest schedule and was still able to put on. I mean, why is he at number three at this point for you?
The reason I have him at number three is because, don't get me wrong, I think he has a lot of speed, and that's the one thing he has over Zach Wilson. But there is one issue I do have with Justin Fields, and you could disagree with me on this. That's fine. His accuracy is a little off at times. And, you know, don't get me wrong. When he is on point, Justin Fields, he is on point. But the thing is, the other thing that he's at a little bit of a disadvantage is his arm talent. But at the same time, though, looking at Zach Wilson, I think Zach Wilson has more of the accuracy and more of the arm talent. Now, listen, I do agree with you. Justin Fields played harder opponents than Zach Wilson did. Absolutely he did. But you know what? At the same time, Joe, when I look at this quarterback situation is, you know, if we're going to keep Sam Darnold, or are we going to take Zach Wilson or Justin Fields, or even if Trevor Lawrence falls to us, you know, at the end of the day, I'm going to support whoever is going to be the quarterback in 2021 for us. Robert Saleh, I trust Mike LaFleur, and I even trust Joe Douglas, that the three of them can definitely work it out together.
Yeah, you know, and I respect that take. You know, that's a very, you know, contrarian take there, Steve. I respect that. You know, you're all about supporting who's ever going to be at the helm, and I get that. You know, I don't know, Justin Fields, that arm talent for me, though. You watch this guy chuck the football around. He's got it. It's all there. But, you know, if we do stick with Sam Darnold, and some people have brought that up tonight, we've been having a discussion with that. You know, I wouldn't have an issue with that as well. But for me, I'm looking at the situation, and I'm saying, okay, if we stick with Sam, we're sitting at 2. You got to think that, you know, we would be looking to trade down, right, at this point, right? Because you'd want to get more picks to continue to allocate, you know, to get more talent on the football team. So Steve, for you, what would be a team that you would target to trade down with? I mean, what team do you think would be able to give us, you know, some solid picks back and allow us to continue to build this football team?
Okay, yes, because here are some teams that I know that are looking to get a quarterback in this draft. Teams that I'm looking at that are definitely looking to get a quarterback in this draft, draft is. I know that Atlanta is one team because, listen, I think the Falcons do need to move on from Matt Ryan eventually because I don't think Matt Ryan is going to be the future for that team. Carolina is another team because I don't think Teddy Bridgewater for them is going to be their future because you know, they've had issues. The Washington football team is another one because, listen, I mean, yeah, they did sign Ryan Fitzpatrick in the offseason, and they have the other guy, Taylor Heineke. But at the same time, though, I think Washington needs to start over with a new quarterback because the thing is, listen, you don't know too much about Taylor Heineke, and Ryan Fitzpatrick is just old. But another team also, too, that I think that could be looking at a quarterback as well is Chicago because as of right now, Andy Dalton is technically the starting quarterback of that team. I mean, after all, Chicago did move on from Mitchell Trubisky. And another team is also New Orleans. I mean, listen, they have Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill, but at the same time, though, New Orleans is going to need a quarterback for the future. I mean, listen, because Taysom Hill is a kind of a player that not only plays quarterback, I mean, he could play any position on the field. But
yeah, but hold on a second, Steve. Because you brought up a lot of teams, and yes, those teams did need quarterbacks, but a lot of the teams that you brought up are kind of low. You know what I mean? After you talked about, you know, Carolina and Denver, you went down pretty far. You know, my man.
I didn't say Denver, Joe. I didn't say Denver.
Okay, but Denver's
it was
in the
Atlanta and
though,
Carolina.
Atlanta and Carolina, okay. After them, you brought up Washington. You brought up Chicago. Washington is at 19. Chicago's at 20. You know, New Orleans is at 28. I mean, what is the lowest that you're willing to go?
Oh, I mean, if I'm looking at a lower number, though, you know, and Denver was a team that I forgot to bring up, too. I mean, I'm hoping that if we trade down, it would be between either Carolina, Denver, or Atlanta. So, and the thing is about the Denver Broncos is, listen, I don't know too much about Drew Lock. I know a lot of Denver Bronco fans don't really like Drew Lock that much because, I mean, Drew Lock is okay from what I heard, but do I see him as the starting future for Denver? No. But at the same time, though, we just got to see what happens. Listen, at the end of the day, I trust Robert Saleh, I trust Mike LaFleur, and I trust Joe Douglas. And the thing is, listen, if we have to move on for Sam, you know what? It would break my heart, but it would have to be what's best for business.
Yeah. Listen, Steve, I respect that you have some takes tonight, man. Yeah. You have some takes, man. I'm going to give you a hand, dude.
Hey, Joe.
I'm going to give you a hand, dude. Not too much in studio audience, not too much, all right? I respect y'all, but not too much.
Hey, Joe.
You know what I mean?
So,
Slow
Joe,
down, you know what I'm saying? But
Joe, I want to now ask you this question. How do you feel about the NFL now doing a 17-game season?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, you know, I was going to ask you the same question, but I look at it like, hey, more football, I like it. Do I understand the impact that it's going to have on players and their bodies? Yes. You know, I understand that they're going to have to go out there.
No.
Again, you know, it's gonna put some impact on, you know, some more miles on the tire. But, you know, if they can go out there, another game of football, you know, can you really argue against it? We all love football. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But I understand why some players are upset. Guys like Alvin Kamara. Go ahead, Steve. I'll let you finish. Get some final words.
No, it's just the thing is about having the 17-game season is interesting. But there is one thing I do like about it is that we do get an extra game. And the best part about getting the extra game is that the Jets will now play 9 games at home this year coming up. And obviously we get the Philadelphia Eagles at home. And what's special about playing against the Eagles is because the Jets have never defeated the Philadelphia Eagles before in the history of their franchise. I think that's the only team in the National Football League that the New York Jets have never defeated. But at the same time, though, so Joe, the other question I wanted to ask you is, you look at our 2021 opponents. I mean, listen, I think our schedule this year is going to be easier than it was last year. But what is your thought about the opponents we're facing this year?
Yeah, and this is I'm going to let you go after this one, Steve. But I look at the situation. I see the opponents. I've seen them, but it's tough to really get an assessment because you don't know how these teams are going to look. There's still a draft coming up. There could be injuries. There could be a lot of things. Some of the teams that we're looking at right now, I think like Tampa Bay is on our schedule. There's a couple other people. Tampa could look completely different once the season starts. There could be injuries. There could be guys not playing. They could just have a down year. So I think, it's tough to really call it right now. We'll see, especially after this draft, how teams improve because, again, there's teams that can make vast improvements via the draft, via trades. There's still players that could be out there that could be moved. So, there's a lot to have a conversation about that, though, Steve. But, again, once we get closer to the season and things are filling out, we'll definitely have a discussion about that, though, Steve.
Hey, Joe,
so, I'm going to
one last thing.
Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
Yeah, Joe, one last thing, man. I'm sorry, but it's just, there has been rumors about because of the whole thing with the number 1 pick, and even if the Jets decide, to move on from Sam, there were even some reports that were going out that Jacksonville would take Zach Wilson at number 1. And the thing is that because of his arm talent and all that stuff, because here's the thing, Joe, if Zach Wilson or if Justin Fields is taking first, number 1 by Jacksonville, either Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, and if Trevor Lawrence is on the board, Joe, we have to take him. I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see.
Yeah, and again, I want to thank you for calling in, Steve. Listen, we'll see what happens, going forward. I can't necessarily see Jacksonville not taking Trevor. He's pretty much a lock to go there, but, we've seen things happen in the past where a team might pass it up. But if Trevor Lawrence is on that board, I don't know, man. I don't know. There could be a lot of different things happening, especially with teams that may be willing to offer. You might truly get that ransom. I remember there was a lot of people saying that Trevor Lawrence, could literally give you 3 full drafts. There were some guys literally saying that there's teams that would be willing to part ways with damn near 3 full drafts just to move up to get that guy. So that could be an option as well. But we're going to keep getting to these lines. Salute to everybody. Again, 515-602-9639, 515-602-9639. We're going to keep moving to these lines. 845, I'm coming directly to you. 845. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. I want you to give me your thoughts about this quarterback discussion, man. How do you feel about Zach Wilson, Justin Fields? Who's your pick? Who would you like to see the Jets take? Are you a Trey Lance guy? Do you like Mac Jones? Who's your guy that you want to see the Jets go after?
What's up, Joe? It's been a long road, since the end of the season. And if you're tracking this back, we had the whole tank for Trevor moment. And then and then we had people saying after that Justin Fields game was playing with the broken ribs and still defeating Trevor Lawrence. We're saying, hey, look at this guy. This guy's got skills and he's tough. So from that point forward, I was a Justin Fields guy personally, but over time, the Deshaun Watson rumors happened, and then I went all in on Deshaun Watson because I thought it was a chance. Obviously, with
there's a lot of stuff going on over there.
Yeah, the situation. I'm not going to get into that, but I don't think we should, tackle that right now. It's not proper with our building a new culture here. And then now we're on this whole Zach Wilson wave. So I'm going to tell you right now, it's because of Chris Sims. I'm trailing it back to Chris Sims, saying Trevor Lawrence. Okay. Trevor Lawrence is second best in his rankings. And if it was anybody else, I personally would be like, okay, come on, get out of here. Trevor Lawrence has been touted number 1 for years, since high school. But for Chris Sims, he's one guy in the media, and I don't trust many people, but he's one guy in the media that I know doesn't watch as much college football and then goes back and watches all the games, and he knows how to evaluate a quarterback. He's been very accurate with Justin Herbert last year, saying he was the best, and then he said Lamar Jackson was the best coming out, and look at his great MVP season. So I've been seeing his track record, and I do trust his eye on a quarterback, and he said Zach Wilson's number 1 on his list. Now, granted, I still love Justin Fields and wouldn't mind if the Jets took him at number 2. But if we get Zach Wilson, I don't mind that either. And I know you're a Sam Darnold guy, and there's a lot of people that want to trade back. I think we have enough picks. I mean, there's only so much you can do with picks. They're supposed to be players. So, I mean, we have enough picks. We have 9 this year, 10 next year. I feel like we're going to be all right to build around whoever is our quarterback. So I feel like take Zach Wilson, give us the rookie contract, and we can even so we don't have to pay Sam another fifth-year option, or easily pay him a fifth-year option and keep Sam and have him on the – I know it's kind of like sad to see Sam on the bench, or to see – not Sam on the bench. Maybe we can keep Zach on the bench, but we're all going to know that Sam's out. So holding him with us another year will be just saying, hey, we're holding you one more year before we kick you out the door, and he would have to show out next year.
Yeah, but wouldn't it make more sense? I mean, and again, I want to thank you for calling in, but wouldn't it make more sense to move on from Sam Darnold if you're getting Zach Wilson, if you're bringing him in the building? I mean, at the end of the day, if you're a team and you're taking this kid, if you're taking him at this point, you got to move on from Sam Darnold. There's no reason to sit him because, I mean, what exactly would you get? Like, at this point, it looks like there's no teams that are really willing to give up what the Jets are looking for if they're looking to shop Sam Darnold because he hasn't been moved yet. If you're taking Zach Wilson, doesn't that kind of drop the value even more? Because then teams are looking at it like, okay, not only is there very few teams that are looking for him, but you're going to have to get rid of him anyway because you got a young quarterback in there. What are you going to do? You can't play both of them at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
You bring up a good point, and it's not that I think that's the best option to do. I think that's an option because I do think that trade value tends to change. The market changes constantly. So yes, his trade value right now is low because free agency has already kind of dwindled down. But it can also go up if there's anything that happens in training camp, if anything happens throughout the preseason, if we have it this year, and people get injured, or if something happens where, you know, after the draft there's still, like, you know, if Denver's like, hey, let me get somebody in here to compete with Drew Lock, or if Carolina's like, hey, let me get Sam Darnold in here to compete with Teddy, I believe there's still options on the table. Now, is it going to be a higher stock than now? It's a possibility. It depends on what you know, the situation is. You know, anything can happen. But if we hold on to Sam until we get, like, at minimum a third-round pick, I think is the best thing to do and get rid of him. Bring Zach Wilson in here and or Justin Fields and just start a new culture. You know, and not to hate on Sam, but I just don't. With him, I've seen him misreads for 3 years. Like I watched him misreads for 3 years, and I'm like, let's move on. You know, and on top of that, I think his mentality is not as tough as we like to think. I think for Sam Darnold, I think people believe in Sam Darnold more than Sam Darnold believes in himself. And I don't want that in my quarterback who's kind of unsure about him. I think that Zach and Justin Fields, they have a certain type of personality I feel like can work in New York, both of them. And I think that we should just move on and start something new with Robert Saleh, Mike LaFleur, and some new quarterback and build something around them. Unfortunately, Sam paid for the next quarterback since.
Look, I hear you. You're bringing the takes, and you've had a great call. You brought a lot of different perspectives. But my final question before I let you go is, you talked about, you know, getting that new guy in, and I know you said at this point, because Chris Sims and everybody's kind of talking about Zach, that's kind of turned you over to his side. But aren't you concerned about Zach's durability issues? Are you not worried about that shoulder? Like, how much does that concern you into taking him? I mean, at this point, like, doesn't that kind of play a factor into you thinking, hey, could this guy last here?
Oh, yeah, I have no problem with the shoulder. I mean, we saw him at the pro day, and, he's accurate to me, you know, so it looked fine to me. And I think that we've seen this injury, the labrum, with other quarterbacks, and they've came back from it. So, especially with today's science, I do believe that, you know, once he gets in there, they start working him up and giving him some workouts and get him with our training staff, they can make sure that he takes care of him, you know. So, and I'm not totally away from taking Justin Fields. You know, I'm not off of that. I think they're both great. I think that Robert Saleh, Mike LaFleur, and Joe Douglas know who's going to fit the system the best, whether it's Sam or whether it's a new quarterback or whether it's trading for somebody else. I don't know. But I think that they have an eye for what they're trying to go for to create around this new team they're trying to build. And I trust them, you know, and I believe that people can hate on the Jets, people can talk their trash and say that we're a bad organization. Oh, don't worry, give us 2 or 3 years and talk that. Because I'm not afraid of the Dolphins. I'm not afraid of the Bills. I'm not afraid of any of these teams. And I think that Robert Saleh is not afraid either.
Okay, look, I can't not give this man a hand. I respect that. Listen, I want to thank you for calling in. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you. All right, my friend?
Most definitely. All gas, no brakes. Let's go. Go Jets.
That's fact. Thank you for calling in. Ooh, listen, that man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to keep going to these lines. He said, I'm not afraid of nobody, damn it. I'm not afraid of the Dolphins. I'm not afraid of the Bills. I'm not afraid of anybody. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about it. I don't care who it is. I don't care what's going on. Now, I look around the division myself, and I'm afraid. I ain't going to lie. The Bills are tough, man. That's a tough football team out there. The Patriots just went and read up. They got themselves 2 more tight ends. I'm concerned, man. I'm a little concerned. I ain't going to lie. I'm a little worried. But I'm going to stand up, though. I'm going to put my chest out. I'm going to be a man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be a man. I know we got a fighting chance. We got a real GM. We got a great coach. We're building over here. We got to figure some things out. This roster's getting better. I ain't going to lie and say I ain't concerned. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to lie about that. This division's tough, but we going to play. We going to play. All gas, no brakes. You know what I'm saying? All gas, no brakes. I got to put my chest out. I ain't going to lie. I was a little worried, though. You know what I mean? So we're going to keep getting to these lines, 515-602-9639, 515-602-9639. Please call in. Do not curse when you call into my show. I'll get you out of here fast. Don't do that, all right? Real fast, all right? So keep going. 336-336. I'm coming directly to you. 336. You're a new caller. Let me know your name, where you're from, and give me your thoughts about the trade that the Dolphins were able to make with the 49ers. How do you think that impacts the Jets' draft options?
What's going on, Long Beach Joe? This is Cliff, man. I follow you on Twitter and stuff. I deal with you a little bit, and I watch your show, your prediction shows. I can't wait on your prediction shows again, Joe. But man, as far as the Dolphins go, man, as far as the Dolphins go, man, I really like the trades that they made, but like I'm kind of worried a little because I don't know what they got going on, the plan for their team and stuff. But at the same time, it's all about the Jets right now, and I'm just trying to figure out what we're gonna do at the 2 spot.
Yeah. First off, again, I want to thank you for calling in, Cliff, and thank you for supporting, my content. I'm keeping everything going. We're gonna watch games as well. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have a good time. So yeah, like you said, those prediction shows were wild.
Hey man, I'm a huge fan though, Joe. I can't even lie. I'm a huge fan of the show, man, and the content, man. You do a real good job.
Thank you so much. But getting back to what you were talking about, I'm looking at the situation, the trade that was made. I said, man, that really shut a door, I think, for the Jets, especially when you look at the situation where not only were we looking at, a lot of people were saying, hey, we should trade Sam to the Niners, but also when you looked at the situation, you were saying, hey, the Niners are one of the hungry teams that we could look to fleece to get more draft capital, in case we were going to keep Sam and trade down. So I was like, And then you look at the Dolphins, that strengthens them as well as divisional opponent. They continue to make trades, to better themselves. They also made a trade with the Eagles to get back into 6. So that's a team that we're going to have to be dealing with. So that kind of, hit us. It really reverberated through, all areas right there. But when you look at it and you talked about it at 2, you're wondering where they go. And I'm wondering, for you, who's the quarterback that you want? Because I'm saying to myself, I know a lot of people are really sold on Zach Wilson. I think he's phenomenal. He's got great arm talent. I think there are some things there. But for me, Justin Fields is the guy that I look at, man, and I look at everything that he brings to the table, the arm, the things I saw him do, in that bowl game, the things I saw him do in college, but also his athletic ability, I think, for me is huge because his athletic ability opens up our offensive options because you can run RPO with him. He can be deadly moving his feet. He can move the chains moving his feet. We've seen, today's quarterback, we talk about it, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, all these guys. And I'm not saying that, pocket quarterbacks can't survive in this league. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is today's game, that mobile quarterback, a guy that can run, a guy that can make a defense be accountable for multiple things and be dynamic is what really matters. And so that's why it kind of leans me more towards Fields. So I want to get your thoughts on this, man. Who are you sold on and who is the guy that you want?
Honestly, I've been sold on Fields since day one. Everybody's turning around now with Zach Wilson. We just seen him. We had talked about him 60 seconds ago, and now everybody's on that bandwagon. And I don't understand that. I do not get that. And they are like, and then they have questions about Justin Fields, reading the field ability and accuracy and stuff. That's what the coaching staff is for. That's what those pro coaches get paid to elevate his game. Out of the quarterbacks that's coming out, talent wise, I think he's the best quarterback talent wise.
Mm.
I'm gonna say this right here, Joe. I'm in ACC country. I'm in North Carolina. I see Trevor Lawrence all the time. The level of competition in the ACC is trash. It's Clemson is no more than Alabama was when they started running the SEC, but now teams have gotten better and catching up to them a little bit. Clemson is the same way over down here in the ACC. And I am not. Okay. I mean, like he's a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's a little overhyped with him. A little bit too much hype with him. But I see him all the time, and he's not. Okay. Zach Wilson. Matt. Who? The competition that Zach Wilson has faced is Joe is trash, Joe. and something else I like, the little fun fact you brought up about there's only 3 players in competition that is in the top 200. Like that is a great fun fact right there, Joe, for people to actually think about. I mean, and I'm not trying to bash the kid, but people are like, you got to have one or the other, which is really nonsense to me. You can like both guys without tearing one down. But I'm like you. I'm on the Fields bandwagon, and I've been there. Yeah, I've been on the Fields bandwagon.
Dude, you bringing up a lot of great points. You just killed me. But look, and again, even if we go back to that bowl game, dude, there were people right after the bowl game, saying, you know what? We all, at this point, we believe that Justin Fields is better than Trevor Lawrence. I remember
is better than Trevor Lawrence.
I remember.
And then he played Alabama with broke ribs, and now he's trash.
Yeah.
Now he got all kind of issues and problems and stuff.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I remember those people saying those things. That's all I remember. You know what I'm saying? But
I do too, Joe. Our Jet brothers and sisters was on that.
Yeah, I remember that discussion. So I'm just wondering where it went. But listen, you brought up a lot of great things, like you said as well. I know you're a field guy as well. You're leaning towards it. I just think the ability is there. I just think he has what it takes, and I really think that he could really put things together, man. You watch the season that he had. He really did some well things, not just outside of the bowl game. It's not just the bowl game that made me be like, hey, no, this guy could really look solid pretty much the entire season, man. I mean, he looked great. But when switching gears, when you look at the situation now, and this is my final question before I let you go, but you're looking at the 17-game season now that's in place. What are your thoughts on it, man?
Joe, I'm actually glad for the 17 game. I mean, it's against Philly, and like Steve said, we ain't beat them in 1,000 tries, but hopefully we can beat them and get to the playoffs. Let's make something happen. But I have a question for you before you let me leave. Okay,
go ahead.
It's about Sam. It's a question. It's about Sam. Okay, everybody's saying how his trade value has dropped and stuff. Well, how would you feel about keeping Sam through preseason, knowing that a quarterback is going to get hurt, and somebody's going to need a quarterback, and that stock drop that happened now, it'll go back up and probably more during the preseason time. But I know that's a big gamble right there. But what are your thoughts on that, though?
And that's a great question, Cliff. I think that's really tough, man, because if you hold him into the preseason just hoping that somebody goes down, even if they do, would that team be willing to give you the value that you're looking for? Because at that point, what would you hope to get? Like a high second round, maybe a first round pick? A team could be like, look, we're not going to give you a first round pick for this guy, who's again, you got to look at his contract, where he will be moving. Okay, we're not going to give you that quality. We'll just go into the next draft and take a quarterback, especially if the injury is bad enough. You know what I mean? We'll just wait you out. Like, that's why I think that's tough. I think if you're going to take a quarterback in this draft, and you just move on from Sam Darnold. I think at that point you have to. Because what exactly will you get? The trade value at this point is really low right now. And so I don't exactly know what you would get. I think at this point you would hope to at least be able to get a second rounder, at least. Yeah. A third rounder at best. And especially when you look at, and I think a lot of people are just looking at Sam, but again, and I love Sam Darnold, but what has he done to even warrant you giving him a second round pick? You look at all the questions that a lot of Jets fans have about him right now. There's fans literally screaming to move on from him now. Why would another team be like, hey, we're going to take him on and, the option or the possibility of having to give him a big-time, deal after a year. We got to figure it out. And then you want us to give you big, solid compensation as well. I think that's a lot to ask of a football team. I really do. But Cliff, I got to get back to right? Go ahead. Say it again?
Sam is like 23, right?
Yeah.
Sam is like 22, 23.
Yeah, but you have to make a decision about him. Because, if he comes here, unless we give him this option, which is, I think it's around $25 million this year, unless we give him that option, you got to give him a deal. You got to do something with him, unless you're going to franchise him, and that's giving him money too. So there's a lot of questions surrounding that. I think that's why a lot of teams didn't move on him as well, because they have to make a decision on him so quick. And again, you look at the past, there's a lot of question marks. Even though we see we've all seen the flashes and the talent. There's been a lot of questions around, the structure that the Jets have put him in. But has there been enough to even warrant that? A second-round pick for a guy that's thrown, the number of interceptions that he has?
Yeah.
And we've never done it.
No, you're right, though. You're right.
Terrible. There's just a lot of questions. But I see the talent. We all do. But we've done a lot to jack up his trade value. But, Cliff, I got to get back to the rest of these lines. Listen, next time I have a show, Cliff, bro, I want to hear from you. I don't hear from you enough. I see you on social media. We talk all the time on Twitter, bro. But I'm not hearing enough from you on the show, bro. I need to hear from you more.
I will be a regular. I will become a regular, Joe. I will become a regular.
All right. Absolutely. Thank you so much, man.
You
have a good night. All right.
Yes.
Listen, we got to get to the rest of these lines. All right. The lines are screaming. We're going to get to everybody. 515-602-9639. Again, 515-602-9639. We're going to keep it moving. All right. I think I'm going to go to my guy, man. I think this is my guy. I think it is. I think this is my guy. 201, I'm coming to you, my friend. I think this is my guy, Sean, man. I think it's my guy, Sean. Sean, is this you, my friend?
Yes, it is, man. Thank you for having me on the show, man. Long time no see, man.
Yeah, you already know how it's going to go. Listen, for those of you that don't know, Sean just likes to argue with me. I don't know why. I tried to be friends with him before. I have. I've extended the olive branch. I tried to be cool with him, right? And then he just he flips on me. And so then I got to flip on him back. You know what I'm saying? I yell, and then all of a sudden it's all over the place. It's spaghetti. You know what I'm saying? It's spaghetti everywhere, But I try to be cool with him. So Sean, listen,
not this time. I'm hyped, man. I'm hyped.
All right. I want to thank you for calling in.
Here we go.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to thank you for calling in. So my first question for you, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, where are you going, man? Or are you sticking with Sam Darnold? What are you doing with the Jets QB position at this point?
I honestly think this is a tough question because if you think about it, we got 4 good quality quarterbacks, and it's all a personal preference with scheme fit wise. Because I like Justin Fields, I like Zach Wilson, I like Trevor Lawrence, I like Trey Lance. Personally, I'll take either or. Because think about it, Zach Wilson has been having a lot of hype around his name, and I don't know, he could possibly go number 1, and then you're in a position at 2, you could take Trevor Lawrence. I know it sounds too crazy, but he has a lot of hype around his name right now. So, personally, I like Zach Wilson. Okay. But the thing is his body type. I like Trey Lance. And, I like their body type, Fields' body type, but I like Wilson's arm. But, it's scary because if we do take Wilson, I'm afraid that once he takes that quick hit, he's going to be like a Pat White, he's going to be out, and that's going to be a scary moment right there. But the boy could throw, man.
Yeah, no. Listen, Sean, he can whip the football. That's no lie about that at all. That guy he's got arm talent. But there's other questions about him as well, and you brought up a little bit about it. It's the durability concerns. I'm worried about that shoulder, and it seems like a lot of fans are not talking about it. And I want to get your thoughts on that because, again, this fan base literally, picks apart so many players. And the first thing that a lot of people talk about, especially if a guy has a slight injury history, anything, if he stubbed his toe last week, they're going to talk about it. And I feel like a lot of people are not bringing up, this torn labrum. What are your thoughts about that? And are you concerned about his durability?
That's the thing. I think that they're waiting on that next week. I believe the 8th. They're going to find out about his medical. Yeah, the 8th. So I think that they're going to find out there, and then they're going to make their decision because Dan Bugler off on the NFL app, on the Jets app. He already said the draft starts at 3. So he has a lot of insight as well because he's always on the Jets app. So I believe they're going to go with Zach. It's just not confirmed yet because they just want to check, for his history, especially with that shoulder, because that's a big concern, Yeah,
I hear you. And look, Sean, I think a lot of people are saying the exact same things that you're in, that we're locked into Zach Wilson. And so for me, I look at the situation and I go, okay, well, if we're locked into Zach Wilson, then what the heck are we doing with Sam Darnold at this point, right? For you, if we're taking Zach, what do you do with Sam Darnold? Are you keeping him on the roster? Are you trying to trade him? And if so, if you're trying to trade him, where are you trading him to? It's my last question for you. Go ahead.
Well, U Stadium just came out with that the Washington football team is still interested, that Carolina's still interested, the Bears are still interested. But I've been hearing around, looking around, listening around, that supposedly Joe Douglas is trying to package that I believe that 23rd pick in Sam Darnold to try to move up at around the 8th or 9th pick, I believe, Carolina. I know it's a little too far, but, I wouldn't be so bad to get back in there, to take a tackle,
Yeah, I mean,
a guard. I don't know. I apologize.
Yeah, guard, like you said, guard, I think that would be a solid move. I don't know where that'll get you, packaging that, because, again, the trade value for him is going to be really, really tough. But, I think if you take it out, you're probably going to have to move on.
Did you ever think?
Go ahead.
Did you ever think about, this is the thing too, and I know it sounds crazy, but a Fields and a Travis Etienne, that would be a perfect combo right there. They would be unstoppable. It sounds crazy, but Travis Etienne and Fields right there, you could do the read option. Woof. They'll kill it,
Yeah, I mean, it would depend on where we get, but for me, outside of, going to quarterback, and we'll continue to examine the draft and talk about it, but we got to get offensive line help. I don't know where Etienne would go, but let me tell you something.
Well,
we need guard.
Yeah, we do.
Exactly,
we do.
We need guard help, point blank period. We need interior help. Do not bring Van Roten and Lewis. Those guys are terrible. And we need to move on from them as soon as possible. I don't want to hear
hell no, to the no, no, no. Hell to the no, hell to the no, to the no, no, no.
Damn it, I won't do it.
Yo, they're awful.
Listen, Sean,
they're awful.
Dude,
they're awful.
Dude, it's insane. Sean, I got to get back to the rest of these lines, man. It was great talking to you, my friend. You know what I'm saying? Next time I have a show, I want you to call in, all right?
Yes, I will do the same, man. Have a good one.
All right, you have a good one. Listen, you bring those guards back here, all right, and we running with those trash guys. I won't know what to say because I'm just not having it. All right, I'm just not having it. Better this offensive line, period, and do it now. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639. Call in. All right, I take all calls. Do not call in and hang up. Call in and hang up. You'll be in the abyss. I'll never see you. I'll never see you. Okay, you're in a queue. I can see you. I get to everybody as soon as possible. We'll keep getting to these lines again. 216. I'm coming directly to you. Believe you're a new caller. Give me your name, where you're from, and what are your thoughts on the Jets quarterback situation? Are you keeping Sam Darnold?
Come on, Joe. I ain't no new caller, baby.
Oh,
this Gully, baby. This is Gully.
How does this keep happening? How does this keep happening
I said it on Twitter. I told you. You better tell security to let me in.
Security, come on. What do I pay y'all
for?
What do I There's a free. Damn, what do I pay y'all for? The alarm went off once. Y'all didn't do anything. It goes off again. You're letting Monty in the joint.
New caller.
Come
on, man.
Oh, my God.
What's going on, Joe?
Goodness gracious. What's going on, Monty? It's good to hear from you again. What are you doing with the quarterbacks, bro? Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Sam Darnold. Who are you going with, bro?
Come on, Joe. I told you. I feel like, we missed out on the prize. So, I don't want to settle for second or third best. I already feel that the Jets are not prepared to take a quarterback. I think Zach Wilson. I think he's a good quarterback as well as Justin Fields. I'm actually a Ohio State Buckeyes fan, so I've seen a lot of Justin Fields, and I know, I kind of know things about him a little bit more. If I had to go between the two, not being a homer, I would definitely go with Justin Fields. But man, it's just I look at it like this, right? I look at it like, okay, if they were on the 49ers, right? If we were the 49ers, what quarterback would be more successful? And I would have to say Justin Fields would be more successful. Because these quarterbacks need to be supported, and I feel like that doesn't matter who we get, whether it's Zach Wilson, whether it's Justin Fields. We're not able to support them. We're not able to get them the adequate protection. We don't have weapons for them to throw to. We don't have a running back that we can hand the ball off to. We don't even have a tight end, consistent tight end, somebody who can just manage the middle of the field. So what's the point? What are we doing here? If we take a quarterback second, we've literally set ourselves back 2 to 3 more years. Because you know what? I'm paying attention to what's going on in our division. And I heard a caller say that, I'm not afraid. You don't have to be afraid to get your butt kicked every single week. You don't have to be afraid to get your butt kicked every single week. So I'm paying attention what the Dolphins trade, what they were doing. They literally set themselves up to compete for the next 3 to 4 seasons. And the Bills. The Bills are at least 2 seasons. And then we're not even talking about the Patriots. So the way we built this roster, Joe, I want to ask you something real quick. What do you think Joe Douglas has even done to really add talent to this roster? Because when I look at it, it just looks bare. He's been here 3 years. What do we have to show for it? Becton? That's it.
Yeah, well, hold on a second. He's only had a draft. He has been here 3 years, but he's only had a draft. You got to think before when he first came in, that was done because we kept McCagnon around and gave him a draft and a free agency where he spent a ton of money, right? And then fired him because he made bad decisions.
It was stupid. It was idiotic. Oh my God!
But you got to think he had to get from up under a lot of those issues, especially those bad contracts, and that's why people are talking about getting rid of C.J. Mosley and all these other things, right? But I think he has done things to improve the roster. If Mike McCagnon was still here, we would have gave Jamal Adams $20 million, right? We would have gave him $20 million.
Hey, Joe, that's it. Hey, listen. Hey, we're not about to go down that again. We're not about to start talking. I'm just
but at least that's what we would have done. But what he's done, hold on a second, Monty. What he's done is that he made a move. He got us 2 first-round picks. Some of the moves that he's made, I think, is just Corey Davis, I think was a really solid move to bring him in and wide out. I think that was a good move. Just talking about what he's done in this year's free agency, I thought that Corey Davis was a good move. I thought that Carl Lawson was a good move. I was shocked that we got him. We finally got a pass rusher. I think he's put other stuff in place to continue to help and support. But I think the big thing with Joe Douglas, and again, because his background, all that scouting, he's all about building through the draft. Dude, we were not going to turn around what Mike McCagnon had done for all those years in 1 year or even 2 years. You got to think we were literally in a rebuild for a rudderless. A nothing rebuild for 5 or 6 years McCagnon was here. His first draft class busted out completely. There's no guys here from that class. And if you look at all the rest of the draft class, you want to wonder why we're so bad now is because a lot of those guys are busted out. Darren Lee, bust. All these guys bust. There were so many busts in those drafts, and when you miss out on that, on those players, when you miss out on that talent, it affects the roster going down because generally you're going to evaluate a draft class 3 years after. Well, most of those guys aren't even here. Hell, he was cutting guys a year after he was drafting them. So I think trying to build up, a lot of Jets fans thought, okay, Joe Douglas here, all those guys here, we're going to be good in a year. We're not going to turn around that fast. But what he has done is he set us up for big-time success, particularly in the draft. He's supplementing. He picked up a couple of guys, like I said, even some of those veteran guys he's brought in, Vinny Curry, Coleman, all these guys. So, okay, I can fill these positions, right, running back, and we got another situational pass rusher and bringing in guys in, but I can also really attack other positions in the draft. Becton, I thought, was a really good draft pick. Mims, I thought, was really good. Ashton Davis looks like he's a guy that can, start at safety for us. Even him getting a guy like Mann, Braden Mann, he's one of the better punters in the league. He was really, really solid. He was leading like Pro Bowl voting at one point as a young player. Becton looks like he's going to be, an all-pro year after year after year, at left tackle. He's the best offensive lineman that we have. He's done quite a bit, but he's not going to turn around everything that Maccagnan did in those years just in a second. I think he's done quite a lot, and that's my next question for you. When you look at this situation, this draft coming up, because you talked about, not going after these guys because we don't have the infrastructure to really support them. So I'm guessing you want to stick with Sam at this point. You're willing to stick with Sam Darnold. What team would you be looking to trade back with if you're trading back? What team are you looking to trade back with that you think that that could allow us to continue to build this football team correctly and really give us a solid haul? People are talking about Carolina. People talk about the Broncos. I think what's the farthest that you're willing to go down? That's the farthest that you're willing to go down?
Yeah. I'll go to. I'll go down to Carolina because I look at it like this, Joe. If this draft, I have to leave with Penei Sewell, and I have to also leave with Jamar Chase. Or we can do. We can get another receiver as well. But those are the two guys that I want: Jamar Chase and Penei Sewell. We have to start adding some real live blue chip talent to this team. Yeah. And until we do that, we're going to be in the same situation year in and year out. I don't want to have to be able to – I don't want to get a quarterback and, hope and pray and wish, because I look at it like this. I look at what the Cardinals did, right? They said, we don't want Josh Rosen. We'll take Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, excellent football player, right? But how many times have they been to the playoffs?
Yeah. Well, they're still building and putting things
interesting,
together.
huh?
They're still building and putting things together.
Did they trade for DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they made that move.
I'm more so about team and building teams the right way. And just because there's a quarterback out there, if he's not the guy, I don't want him. You don't build teams like that. So that's where I'm at on it. I don't know why everybody's getting excited about talking about quarterbacks, because if you draft a quarterback at 2, you literally set yourself back for at least 2 to 3 years, because our division is tough. We have a lot of defensive talent. We have a lot of great defensive coaches. So whatever our young quarterback is going to go against, he's going to have to hit the ground running. Even Sam, I'm scared for what Sam was gonna have to go against, man. If he stays. These guys are defensive wizards, man.
Yeah. Like you said, McDermott. That guy's a monster. Yeah, our division is gonna be tough, and we're gonna get after it this year. We'll see, but I think we have what it takes, especially with Joe Douglas, at the helm there, our GM. I think we're going to be able to build out. Monty, I got to get back to the rest of these callers, my man. All right? Listen, next show I want to hear from you. I don't know how you keep slipping past security. I don't know how that keeps happening.
I'm
but
always going to slip past security.
All right.
Take care, man.
We're going to slip that up. All right. You have a good one. How is this happening? How is Monty getting by security every single week? Is he paying y'all more than I'm paying y'all? Like, come on. Goodness gracious. We're going to keep getting to these lines. 515-602-9639, 515-602-9639. Call in. Taking live callers. Do not call in and curse on my show. I'll get you out of here. Get you out of here fast. I'm talking fast. Faster than who got rid of Adam Gase. Get his ass out of here. He's done. Gone. You know what I'm saying? We've moved on. It's all gas, no brakes over here. Joe Douglas is our general manager. We're having good times there. We're going to keep it moving. We got bright future ahead. All right, the Jets are putting it together. So continue to go to these calls. 518, I'm coming directly to you. 518. You're a new caller. Give me your name, where you're from. Give me your thoughts on the Jets quarterback situation. Are you taking Zach Wilson or Justin Fields?
Hello, it's Jimmy from Myrtle Beach. I spoke to you last week, babe. How you doing?
Oh, what's going on, Jimmy? How's it going, my friend?
Oh, just peachy. As far as the quarterbacks go, everybody's leaning towards Zach Wilson. And you got to realize Joe Burrow last year was a one-year wonder also. Mm-hmm. And look how great he was for Cincy. If they had a line, they look better than us. Now line sucked. But anyway, I want to get into the 17-game season. If you think about it, we're going to have 3 preseason games and 17 regular season games. That's 20. The old system was 4 preseason games and 16 regular season games. That's 20. What's all the hubbub? I don't understand.
I think I think what people are talking about is that live action feel as far as more actual season games. You know what I'm saying? I get that it's like, people are just like, hey, it's whatever. But again, one of those preseason games, generally you wouldn't play your starter, so you just wouldn't see anybody out there. I think now when you look at especially with the preseason, again, like you said, going to 3 games, you're going to cut that. There's going to be less time for guys to really show, what they have. So you're going to have guys on that roster bubble that are going to have to show up or, really not be able to play, because a lot of times that 4th game you would see guys really be able to put things together. But, one more game out there, it kind of is what it is. I know there's some players that are upset about it, like Alvin Kamara is going off. But like you said, I look at it, hey, one more game, more season, more football. I mean, it is what it is. Can you not enjoy it? You know what I'm saying? So I like it. I like the move there. But I want to get back where what you were talking about when you were talking about, the quarterback situation there. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, like you said, 1 year wonder with Wilson. I get it. I look at the situation. I say, hey, the schedule is a little soft, man. Like, you weren't playing like the best of the best, but it is what it is. You went out there, you chucked the football around. The arm talent there is phenomenal. But I'm a little concerned about other things, though, like the durability. Are you concerned about that shoulder? Are you concerned about that shoulder? Because a lot of people aren't necessarily talking about it, especially a lot of Jets fans. They're just sold on Zach Wilson, and that's that. But are you concerned about that labrum and the fact that it's been, an issue for him since high school?
They'll have to get it checked out through their medical and everything else. He's got to go past that. And if everything is A-okay, boom, he's in. But, there again, talking about him like a 1 year wonder, which he basically was, and Fields has been doing it for a few years now. I mean, last year he was the number 2, behind Trevor Lawrence. Now all of a sudden, boom, here comes Zach Wilson. Now, he did play great. He does look good. He's got great form. He's got a great arm. That game that he lost against CCU, I'm in Myrtle Beach, so I've definitely watched that game. He really looked good in that game. He didn't really screw up or anything else. I mean, he lost it. He threw the last Hail Mary. So, I mean, that's a 50-50 ball anyway. So, I mean, he still looked good against them. So, but, I mean, I'll take either one. I really just don't want, Mac Jones. I don't want the Statue of Liberty in the back if that play's not being called.
Look, and I respect Mac. I respect what he does, like you said as well. I'm more so on Wilson and Justin Fields, and I like Mac. I think pocket quarterbacks can survive in this league, but like you said, somebody's coming. He ain't moving nowhere. He's a Statue of Liberty. He's going to stand there. But my next question for you, and my last question for you is, like you talked about, you want to take either one of those quarterbacks, Justin Fields or Wilson. So what are you doing with Sam Darnold? Like, are you keeping him on the roster? Or are you moving him? And if so, where are you trading him to?
I think after seeing that ticket information poster with Sam Darnold's name and face on it, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're going to keep him and wait until something actually happens. Somebody's got to either get hurt or die or something like that, and their team is going to want to get Sam Darnold. But I don't think, the Jets really ruined him. I feel sorry for him. My heart bleeds for him. But my head is saying, you got to get a new quarterback. You go with the new regime. You start fresh, all bases. And Joe's going to do it through the draft, and this is it. He didn't draft him. So, we'll see what goes on.
Yeah. And,
it's going to be great.
Listen, Jimmy, I'm right there with you, man. We'll see what happens going forward. And like you brought up, that ticketing, Sam's all over that. And you want to sell tickets, you got to sell who's going to be out there, who you're going to be playing with. Maybe that's a smoke screen, or maybe they're tipping their hand. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens. But, Jimmy, I got to get into the rest of these lines. Listen, I want to thank you for calling in, my friend. You have yourself a good night. Listen, man, there's a lot of people talking, all right? Listen, that ticketing stuff, that's serious business. You know what I'm saying? That might just be some gamesmanship. That might be something else. I don't know. But There's signs all over the place. You listen to other people, we're already, all about Zach Wilson, and we're recruiting his family. There's a lot of reports that are all over the place about this football team, but nothing gets out when it comes to Joe Douglas, okay? A lot of reports have been completely wrong. So we're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639, 515-602-9639. Call in. I'm taking live calls. So next call I'm going to 818-818, believe, Jacob. I think this is my guy, Jacob, man. Jacob, what's going on, my friend? How are you doing tonight? Give me your thoughts on the Jets quarterback situation.
Joe. How are you?
I'm all right, man. What are your thoughts? Who are you going with, man? Zach Wilson, Justin Fields? Are you a Trey Lance guy with Mac Jones? Or do you like him? I mean, who are you hoping the Jets pick up?
Yeah, I think it's very tough because for the past month, 2 months or so, I've been just all Zach Wilson, nothing but Zach Wilson. And I'm not really a guy who looks into the pro day that much. I think it's it's expected for quarterbacks to make throws. I don't know why everybody, claps their hands and bows down and goes crazy on social media when guys make throws that are impressive, because that's what they're expected to do. They're top prospect quarterbacks. But thinking about it again, it really to me depends on what our focus is on more. If we're looking for a guy who's really just all arm, he's going to be popular with the New York media, everyone's going to love him, then you go Wilson. But if you want a guy who's going to be more durable and someone who can play through injury, then you take Justin Fields, because throwing 6 touchdowns in the semifinals versus Clemson with broken ribs or whatever it is, that's not something you can teach. It's just not.
Yeah.
So if you want someone, and Justin Fields is, if you want someone who's more competitive, you take Justin Fields too. He's got that tough prospect coming out of high school, goes to Georgia, transfers to Ohio State. He's got the competitiveness in him, and that durability to throw 6 touchdowns against a top team with a broken rib is just, you can't teach that.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, and this is you already bringing some great takes, like you said as well. What he did to Clemson, and he outdueled Trevor Lawrence, who is a generational talent. He went out there and just absolutely stole the show that night, and there were people that were just besides themselves about him. I remember the takes were flying, him possibly being the best quarterback in the draft. A lot of people were saying all kind of things were going, and like you said as well, playing with broken ribs, going out there and still doing your thing. That shows a level of heart and grit that is just, it's unbelievable. Yeah. You have to want that. You have to will that. You know what I'm saying? So I like that as well. But one thing I like as well, too, Justin, and you were touching on all his, aspect. I'm sorry, Jacob. You were touching on all his, the aspects of his game was his physical ability. He ran a 4.4 and he slipped. He ran a 4.4 at his pro day. He's a guy that's athletic, can move very fast. I'm looking at him and I'm saying, dude, his offensive skill set, some of the things he could do could really open up our repertoire as far as what our offense can run. RPOs, all those kind of things can be ran off of him because he'd be so deadly with his feet. Do you agree with that, my friend?
Yeah. Definitely. I think I'm one of the people who, I know a lot of people like to say, the trend's going to change, but I am one of the people who believes that Ohio State quarterbacks just don't pan out in the NFL that well. I know he says, in all honesty, I'm different than those guys, but what are you supposed to say? Are you supposed to say, yeah, I'm going to continue the trend, I'm going to suck in the NFL, do not take me, I repeat, do not take me. It doesn't work like that. So I do think he will be different than some of the other Ohio State quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And I think definitely when you talked about the different things he can add to our offense, they're all true, because running a 4.4 as a quarterback, I don't know how accurate the pro day 40 times are, because it seems like everybody's running a 4.4. Because when people are doing it by hand, a 4.35 and a 4.5 are basically identical. You really need a computer to get the most accurate, but I think we all know he's athletic and fast, and those RPOs are something that it's definitely a new thing in the NFL. It's not something that used to be really popular, but I think if that's the direction we're going towards, where we want to run a lot of RPOs, then you take Justin Fields, because he's going to do that well.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, that's something, again, that's a wrinkle in NFL. A lot of people are running it. And if we're moving on from Sam Darnold and we're going to take a quarterback, Fields is the guy that really opens that up for you. And that's what leads me to my final question for you. When you look at this situation in the draft, if we do take a young quarterback, where do you think we actually end up sending Sam Darnold? Or are you in favor of keeping Sam Darnold on this roster?
I would like to deal him, but I trust Joe Douglas now just more than any general manager we've ever had, because time and time again, whether it's in the offseason, the draft, or during the regular season, I've doubted him, and I'm just questioning what he's doing just over and over. Like, even just a few weeks ago in free agency, like, why aren't you making any moves? It's been 5 minutes, and we haven't heard anything yet. What's going on? And just finally, you know, he gets to these good moves. And time and time again, whether it's Jamal Adams, just we didn't expect him to be able to get 2 first-round picks for Jamal Adams. But he's very patient, and he waits for the right offer. And when he traded back for Denzel Mims, when I saw that Denzel Mims was there for us originally at pick, I don't know what it was, like in the 40s, and then I see him trade back, I'm like, what the hell? Why is he doing this? He just lost a chance on a generational wide receiver, and then he's there in the 60s, 69 or whatever it is. So I think he'll make the right move with Sam Darnold. I'd be more likely to trade him now, especially if we can get a second for him. You deal him, even if it's right now not on draft night, because it's really not a secret anymore that we're taking a quarterback. I know he's trying to be secretive about it, but it's not a secret anymore. Everybody knows we're doing it. So if someone offers you a second round pick, you say yes, you hang up the phone, you wish Sam Darnold well, you thank him for everything he's done, and you say adios.
Wow. Listen, Jacob, this was a great call from you, man. This was a great call as usual. You really bring some solid takes, man. Not too much to your audience. You guys always get kind of extra out there. You know what I'm saying? Not too much. So it's not clap too hard. But, you know, listen, Jacob, I got to get to the rest of these lines, my friend. I want to thank you for calling in. You have a good night. But listen, at the end of the day, I truly respect Joe Douglas, and I think he's a phenomenal scout. I think he's a phenomenal talent. But I don't know. I don't know if you get a second-round pick for Sam at this point, especially with a lot of the teams that are still in play. His trade value is kind of down. You got to wonder, you know, what exactly can you get for this guy at this point? So we'll see. Continue going forward. And I think a lot of reports that are out there, for me, Joe Douglas is such a wild card, man. I don't know if you can tell exactly what he's going to do. So we're going to keep getting to these lines, all right? 562, I'm coming directly to you. 562, you look like a new caller. Give me your name, where you're from, and what are your thoughts about the Jets quarterback options? How are you feeling about Sam Darnold?
Hey, Joe, how you doing? This is Bill. I'm here in Los Angeles. Just started following you on Twitter, so. No, it's good, man. It's good.
Thank you.
It's good. Just
thank you for calling in. Thank you for following me as well. Hold on. Are you from Long Beach, Bill? Talk to me.
I'm from Lakewood by Long Beach. I'm about Lakewood by Long Beach.
Okay, that you know what? Damn it, that's good enough. All right, that's good enough. Good enough. He's close enough. He ain't from Long Beach, but damn it, it's close enough. You know what I'm saying? Salute to you. All right, from an LB guy, salute to you. I respect Lakewood dudes. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Bill. Go ahead. Give me your takes really quickly on Justin Fields and Zach Wilson. How are you feeling about it?
I've been a Justin Fields guy the whole time. I watched Zach a little bit last year, but more so after he started rising this year. And just a lot of people aren't looking at the 2019 tape. I really wish people would take a look at that. If people want to take a look and say he's improved, perhaps, but then you have to look at that talent gap. Everyone has got to remember they had Power 5 teams that kind of canceled because of COVID, and they got replaced with all the Sun Belt teams. That those teams, they have talent amongst themselves, but it's a different level of competition. So a little tough for me to kind of get on board with Wilson. I know the pro day, everyone's excited about a pro day, but as the previous caller said, I mean, if you look bad on your pro day, you don't deserve to be drafted anyway. And I think, when Brandon Marshall came out and made some commentary. He's a guy who played in New York. He's been a long-time pro, and he made a comment. He doesn't know how well Fields, Fields would fare better in New York. I mean, I'm from New York originally, so growing up as a kid, I know a lot of guys came to New York to play it through, and these guys had high hopes. They failed, moved on to other places, and did really well because it's a high-pressure area. So it's really a pressure cooker to go there. When you look at some of what Fields has gone through, when he had the issue at Georgia, I'm not going to bring it up, But, people know what happened, right? And he handled that very well. Most people don't even understand what happened because he just moved on, graciously thanked them for their opportunity to move to Ohio State. I don't know about the whole, you're looking at Wilson's family, they're still broken up about the whole Utah thing. It's like, he didn't go to Utah. His dad went to Utah. They're big Utah fans. He didn't get an offer, and they're still like noses out of joint about that. So how's he going to feel when he has a bad game and the media comes after him? So it's all great when everything's good. I big fan of Joe Douglas. I think he's doing the right things. Whatever he picks, I'm going to go with. But personally, just based on those two, I think we need to go with Fields. And a lot of fans are going to be upset about that off the bat, but they'll get over it.
Yeah, listen, Bill, you brought the fire, man. We're getting short, closer to the end of the show. Look, next time I have a show, man, I want to hear from you. All right, you really brought some solid takes to the show, man. I really like talking to you. And again, I want to thank you for all the support. And we go back and forth on social media as well, my friend. So I want to thank you, man.
All right, man. Thanks. I'll be back. Believe that.
All right, absolutely. You have a good one, my friend. Listen, Bill calling in. We're going to keep getting to these callers. Again, we're getting towards the end of the show. We're going to get to everybody. You know what I'm saying? So next, I'm going to, I think this is my guy, Val, here on the line, 111. This is my guy. Is this Val? Caller, are you on the line?
Hello?
Going what? Yes. Hello? Are you a new caller?
Hey, I'm a brand new caller. Just found you and listening, and from Utah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me your name, where you're
from.
Give me your name again.
What? Michael.
Okay. It's good to speak to you, Michael. Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank you. I know you said you're in Utah. I want to thank you for supporting. Give me your thoughts on this quarterback situation here. Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, where are you going if you're the New York Jets?
You know what? I'm not a big Jets follower. Utah, we don't get New York teams out here, right? Because we're getting the 49ers and the Broncos and whatnot. So I'm a Zach Wilson fan. I've been a fan for 3 years. I followed him, and pretty cool story. I mean, he's a hard-working kid, and that's the one thing that people always don't talk about is during the COVID thing last year, he went down to California every week and drove down 10 hours and back to work with John Beck at that QB school. And he, people say, well, look at his rise. Well, look at the work he put in. He busted his butt, and and it showed this season. So, I mean, I don't know. I always hate Ohio State. I always had Clemson because they always win. You get somebody else in there. That's it was exciting to see Coastal Carolina. You get these powerhouses, and it's like that's all everybody talks about. And I'm sorry if I'm making people mad, but you know what? It's variety is a spice of life, right? And when you see stuff, it's pretty cool. I if you saw anything on Wilson's film this year, he was amazing. I mean, I saw every game and the throws he made and the accuracy and what he did. And he didn't have a lot of talent. I mean, people say he was open, had all day in the pocket, but man, I mean, not really. If you see the games, he was getting pressured, and he did some pretty cool stuff. So, 3 interceptions. One was in his first game. One was in that Coastal Carolina on a Hail Mary at the end of the half, where threw it like 65 yards, and I mean, his guys didn't come back and knock the ball down. So I mean, it's like, the first game was in Navy. Ball got tipped. So 2 of the 3 were throw them out, right? I mean, that it happens. I it's pretty impressive. So anyway, that's my No, listen, and again, I want to thank you for calling in, Michael. Listen, I hear you, but for me, there's more of a question about you look at the 2019 tape, and there were big struggles in the fourth quarter. He was hurt. He was hurt. He was hurt in high school. He was hurt in high
that's
school,
a big question too. That's a big question too, though.
He played the 2018 season his freshman year, and he had a pretty good year. Then he decided to get his shoulder, surgically repaired. I mean,
that's a big question though too, though, Michael. Is the durability concerns? Is like, okay, well, again, you look at that shoulder, like you said, in 2019, he got that. He just had that labrum repaired there. So you look at the situation. He also had a hand injury as well. There's a lot of durability concerns with him.
Did you know how he broke his hand?
Especially with his body type.
Did you know how he broke his hand?
So
tackling the guy at the end is on an interception, right? No one talks about, well, Trevor Lawrence is getting his shoulder repaired, and you're thinking, okay, well, he's Trevor Lawrence. He's from Clemson. He's got to be the greatest thing ever, right? I'm thinking, come on, I watched the guy. I thought, he was a tall, skinny kid, and I think he gets hit one time, he's going to be, broken in half, right? I mean, those guys. Yeah. I mean, you think of these guys that run in the NFL, these backers and these linebackers and these safeties, they're going to crane these guys that run.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it's nice to have that option, but they're not going to go out there and run no option in the NFL. It just doesn't work. You kill your quarterbacks.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Look, Michael. Listen, I hear what you're saying, man. I gotta, get going again. It was thank you for calling in. Listen, next time I have a show, my friend, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Turn on your notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I want to hear from you because you have some interesting insight on Wilson and what he brings to the table. I really enjoyed the conversation with you tonight. So again, I want you to
I just found you, and I was tickled pink about it. But yeah, I just think that 49ers moved up to number 3 in hopes that the Jets will do what they've always done, make a bad mistake, and they'll get the quarterback they want. So, I mean, those
times are over. Those times are over. We're not doing that anymore. All right. Again, I want to thank you for calling in, Michael. We're not doing bad mistakes anymore. We're gonna make the right decision for the football team. I feel it. I absolutely feel it. And I understand everyone's takes about Trevor, or I don't know, some people are not feeling Trevor Lawrence. I understand that. There's some people that think he's a little overrated. I respect it. I think he's a solid quarterback as well. Zach Wilson, again, I think is phenomenal talent. But there's some questions there, even with Justin Fields. Even though I'm a Justin Fields guy, I think he's unbelievable. But I think, there's some questions about, him as well. His ability to, the thing where he holds on to the ball a little bit longer than he should. But some of those things can be coached out of him. But you look at his level of talent that he's playing against. You look at what he's done within those offenses. Woo, let me tell you, that guy's put on, especially in that bowl game. But you watch throughout that entire season, he was doing his thing. So, listen, I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. It was a phenomenal show. I want to thank everybody for calling in as well. Salute to everybody. I want to thank, again, it was great to talk to everybody. I got to everybody tonight. I think I may have missed one person. I apologize. But, again, we'll continue to do shows. So now we're going to close out. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think. The Long Beach Joe Show. I'm also on Twitter as well at YoungJ000. YoungJ000. Go ahead and follow me. I'll follow you right back. You want to troll me? No issues. I'm the troll that lives under the bridge. I will troll you right back, and I will have my Darnold jersey on at all times. I don't know what we're doing with Sam Darnold. I'm hoping that we keep him, but if we move on from him, it is what it is. But I have my Darnold jersey on at this point, all right? Me and Joe Douglas, you know what I'm saying? We're chilling, you know what I mean? So you can also follow the show as well at The Long Beach Joe on Twitter. I'm also on YouTube as well at Long Beach Joe Jets. Long Beach Joe Jets is where you can see all my content, the live streams, all that stuff. Please subscribe, turn on your notifications, give my videos a thumbs up. All right, I truly appreciate everyone that does. And again, folks, when you see me in person, all right, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone. Free hugs for everyone that will cost you absolutely nothing. I want to thank you folks for watching. I want to thank you folks for listening. I want to thank you folks for calling in. Without you people, I'm absolutely nothing. You folks are the absolute greatest, all right? So you people have a good one. Peace.